Here's a strange question. What if the difference between staying broke forever and becoming a millionaire wasn't about how much money you make? What if it wasn't about your salary, your degree, or even your parents' bank account? What if it came down to a single decision you make with just $1? Sounds impossible, right? $1 can't buy you a coffee anymore, let alone change your life. But stick with me because this idea is going to sound small at first, and by the end, you're going to realize it's the biggest financial lesson almost nobody teaches you. Because the truth is, most people don't go broke from one bad decision. They go broke from thousands of tiny ones. And most people don't get rich from one lucky break. They get rich from a single shift in how they treat every dollar that touches their hands. Let's talk about that shift. Picture two friends. We'll call them Alex and Jordan, same age, same job, same salary. Every month, they both get paid exactly the same amount. Alex sees money as something to enjoy right now. New shoes, weekend trips, the newest phone the moment it drops. Alex isn't reckless. Alex isn't in debt. Alex just believes that money is meant to be spent because life is short and you only live once. Jordan, on the other hand, seems almost boring in comparison. Same income, same job, but Jordan drives an older car, cooks at home most nights, and doesn't upgrade the phone every year. If you looked at their lives today, you'd probably think Alex is winning. Alex looks happier, more exciting, more successful on social media. Jordan just looks careful. Here's the common belief most people carry around without even realizing it. They think wealth is created by big moments. A high-paying job, a lucky investment, a business that blows up overnight. So people wait for that big moment, and in the meantime, they treat their everyday dollars as if they don't matter. That belief is the trap, because wealth isn't built in big moments. It's built in 1,000 invisible ones. And the difference between Alex and Jordan isn't income. It's what each of them silently believes about a single dollar. Let's slow down and actually look at what a dollar can do, because most people have never really thought about it. Imagine you're standing at a fork in the road every single time money touches your hands. One path says, spend me now, enjoy me now, feel good right now. The other path says, put me to work and let me grow quietly in the background while you live your life. Most people take the first path without even noticing there was a decision to make. That's not a character flaw. It's actually how our brains are wired. Here's the psychology behind it. Our brains evolved to prioritize immediate rewards over future ones. Thousands of years ago, if you found food, you ate it immediately because tomorrow was never guaranteed. That instinct hasn't gone away just because we now use direct deposit instead of hunting for berries. Your brain still treats spend it now as the safer, more rewarding choice, even when logically waiting would serve you better. This is why saving feels hard and spending feels easy. It's not a discipline problem, it's a wiring problem. Now here's where the $1 decision comes in. Imagine that instead of spending that $1, you invest it. Not into anything exotic, just into something simple, like an index fund, which is basically a big basket of many companies bundled together. So you're not betting on just one. Historically, the stock market has grown by roughly 7 to 10% a year on average after accounting for inflation. That doesn't sound exciting. It sounds almost sleepy compared to the excitement of buying something new today. But here's the twist. That growth doesn't just apply once. It applies year after year. And it applies not just to your original dollar, but to the growth that dollar already earned. This is called compound growth, and it's the closest thing the financial world has to magic. Let me put it simply. If you spend $1, it's gone. It gave you a moment of pleasure, and that's it. But if you invest that same dollar, it doesn't just sit there. It starts working. It earns a little bit more money. Then next year, it earns money on the original dollar, and on the money it already made. Then the year after that, it earns even more because now there's more money working for you. At first, this growth is so small it feels pointless. $1 might turn into $1.07 after a year. Nobody gets excited about 7 cents. This is exactly why most people give up on investing early or never start at all. The beginning of compound growth looks boring and slow, almost insultingly small, but give it time and something strange happens. That growth starts feeding on itself. It's like a snowball rolling down a hill. At the top of the hill, the snowball is tiny, and it picks up snow so slowly you'd wonder if it's even growing. But the further it rolls, the bigger it gets. And the bigger it gets, the faster it picks up even more snow. Eventually, that slow, boring snowball becomes an avalanche. Money works the same way. The first few years feel like nothing is happening. Then one day, you look at the numbers and you can't believe how big that snowball has become. And it all started with a decision so small it seemed meaningless. $1. Here's the deeper truth hiding underneath all of this, and it's the part that actually explains why some people build wealth and others don't, regardless of how much they earn. It has nothing to do with willpower in the way most people think. It's about identity. Alex from our earlier story isn't spending money because Alex is bad with money. Alex is spending money because, deep down, Alex sees themselves as someone who enjoys life now and figures the future will sort itself out. Jordan isn't saving because Jordan has superhuman discipline. Jordan simply sees every dollar differently. Jordan sees a dollar not as a thing to spend, but as a small seed that can be planted. This is the real financial secret nobody puts in a textbook. Rich and poor aren't just financial categories, they're mental categories. Wealthy behavior isn't about having lots of money to start. It's about the belief that money can grow paired with the patience to let it. Think about it this way. If someone genuinely believed that every dollar they invested today could become $2, $5, or even $10 down the road, would they still spend it as carelessly? Probably not, but most people don't believe that. Not really, not deep down, because they've never been shown the math and they've never felt the results. And this is also why lottery winners often go broke within a few years, despite receiving huge sums of money. It's not the amount of money that determines wealth, it's the relationship someone has with money. Give someone with a spending identity $1 million, and they will likely find $1 million worth of things to spend it on. Give someone with an investing identity even a small amount, and they will find a way to grow it, protect it, and multiply it over time. This is why the $1 decision matters so much. It's not really about the dollar. It's about training your brain to see money differently, one small decision at a time. Every time you choose to invest instead of impulsively spend, you're not just growing your money, you're reinforcing an identity. You're teaching your brain that you are someone who builds, not just someone who consumes. And once that identity shifts, everything downstream becomes easier. Saving for larger goals doesn't feel like sacrifice anymore. Investing for the future doesn't feel boring anymore. It starts to feel like planting more seeds because you've already seen how the first ones grow. So, what does this actually mean for you, practically speaking? It doesn't mean you should never spend money or never enjoy your life. That would be swinging too far in the other direction. And burning out on extreme restriction rarely lasts. The goal isn't to punish yourself. The goal is awareness. Start by simply noticing the fork in the road. The next time money touches your hands, whether it's your paycheck, a bonus, or even a few spare dollars, pause for a second and ask yourself a simple question. Is this dollar going to disappear, or is this dollar going to grow? You don't need a complicated strategy to begin. You don't need to be a financial expert. In many places, you can start investing small amounts through simple, low-cost index funds, which spread your money across many companies instead of just one, reducing your risk while still letting you benefit from long-term growth. The specific tools matter less than the decision itself. What matters most is starting early and staying consistent, because remember, the snowball. The size of the snowball at the end depends far more on how long it's been rolling than on how big it was at the start. Someone who starts small in their 20s will often end up with more than someone who starts big in their 40s, purely because of time. Time is the ingredient that turns small decisions into massive outcomes, and it's the one thing you can never buy back once it's gone. So the practical takeaway is simple. Stop waiting for a big financial breakthrough to start building wealth. Start with the smallest decision available to you right now. Redirect a small amount, even just a little, toward growth instead of instant spending. Let it feel boring at first. Let it feel like nothing is happening. Trust that the slow beginning is not a sign of failure. It's simply how every big snowball starts. So let's go back to Alex and Jordan. 10, 20 years from now, Alex will probably still look the same on the outside. Nice things, good moments, plenty of stories. But financially, Alex will likely still be starting from zero because every dollar that ever came in also went right back out. Jordan, on the other hand, will likely be sitting on something Alex never built. Not because Jordan earned more, not because Jordan got lucky, simply because Jordan made a different decision with every single dollar over and over for years, quietly, without applause, without anyone noticing. That's the real secret behind almost every story of long-term wealth. It was never about one big moment. It was about one small decision, repeated so many times that it eventually became unstoppable. So here's the real question this video was always asking. Not how can you make more money, but what are you going to do with the next dollar that lands in your hands? Because that $1 decision, repeated for years, is quietly deciding your entire financial future, whether you're paying attention to it or not.